What's up everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John and you're watching my show, Hate It or Love It. Hate It or Love It is where we take a band or an artist and break down X amount of reasons why people on the internet seem to hate this certain band or artist. And today we have the beloved yet also slightly hated by certain crowds band Blink-182, pop punk, alternative. They are a staple of the late 90s, early 2000s mainstream rush that saw so many pop punk bands popping up trying to emulate their sound, and while most didn't succeed, the genre was exploding, and Blink-182 and the names of Travis Barker, Mark Hoppus, and Tom DeLonge were at the forefront. Not everyone was super stoked that this band was taking over though, and remain relevant and popular to this day, so we'll be breaking down 6 different reasons why people hate Blink-182. Keep in mind, I hate that I have to put this disclaimer out there, but these are not my reasons. Yes, I will weigh in with my opinion after I present what people hate about Blink-182, but these are what I've found from researching in places like Reddit, Facebook groups, and of course other places. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I put out music content on this channel and my other channel, ARTV, multiple times every week, so you don't want to miss out on that. But let's go ahead and get started with why people hate Blink. Hyper-formulaic pop-punk music that's super derivative of other styles and they don't have their own unique presence. That is something that I've seen a lot of people shouting out online when, honestly, I feel that Blink always kind of carved out their own place and they blew up. They were one of the biggest ones for a reason. They did start in more of the punk scene. Their earlier records like Cheshire Cat and Dude Ranch were more influenced by punk than pop, but then everything changed when they blew up with All the Small Things around 1999. Now that track became huge, and from that point on they were really known as the pop-punk band, but I never really saw them as being super derivative or borrowing from a certain style. They had punk rock in their DNA, of course, and a lot of people couldn't get over the fact that they changed drummers, Scott Raynor to Travis Barker, and everything's different now, they're no longer punk. It's an argument that I still see, and I do think it's a bit null and void because, come on, it's been like 20 years. Reason number 2 why people hate Blink-182, shallow lyrics and an overwhelming amount of sound effects. I'm talking the wah-uh-uh-ohs and the na-na-na-na-na that you hear in the music. Those na-na-nas and the whoa-oh-ohs. They can be cop-outs, and the lyrics I especially see people talking about on their most recent album at the time of recording this video, California. They say that they're just trying to really put together buzzwords that people in the pop-punk scene are going to be into, and this is a point that I unfortunately agree with. I feel like in recent years they've become a little bit less creative, especially since a certain member exited the band. I'm not saying that it's all the fault of Mark Hoppus, but still, it seems like they've really been influenced by their producers, especially notably, I would say, John Feldman. And on the record, they just put a lot of na-na-nas. This started in the earlier days with obviously All the Small Things, and it's become more of a go-to for them. Now, I think the lyrics on some of their records, some of their most important ones like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and the Untitled record, even Neighborhoods, they were more fleshed out, more creative, and people didn't give them enough credit for those. And when they returned to the more basic pop-punk stylings of something like California, I think it was easy to just jump on them and hate them, so I don't think overwhelmingly so the lyrics are a big problem, but I can definitely see why it would be an issue, especially the na-na-nas. Ooh, this one might be hitting a little bit too close to home for some people who enjoy them live, but I've heard a lot of complaints about Blink-182 not being good in concert. Now, I've actually seen them twice, once with Tom DeLonge, once without Tom DeLonge, and I have to say that they were much better with Matt Skiba. They had more of a chemistry, more of a tightness, but a lot of people complained about the fact that Tom couldn't even play his riffs up on stage. He kept getting off. His vocals sounded really bad or else really whiny, like they weren't quite on key. And I do think, once again, this is a valid complaint, a valid reason that a lot of people don't like them. Some people are only invested in bands that sound just as good live as they do in the studio, and I can understand that way of thinking. I don't think that it's always necessarily a requirement because not everybody can emulate everything. But with a band like Blink-182, it's not like they're doing anything insane vocally that they can't do live. They do kind of have a habit of just standing there at a lot of their concerts where I don't feel the energy. They have the fuck up on screen, or they have the flames shooting up, and it looks cool, but it doesn't seem like their hearts are in it. Maybe that's just a more recent thing and a more recent reason why people are not liking them. But again, I suppose I can understand if you're looking for more stage presence, you might not be into them. Time to grow up, boys. You're in your 40s. A lot of people do not like that Blink-182 have always used the potty humor, as it used to be referred to, now the kind of immature proponent that is propelled with their music, and I can honestly see why some people would be annoyed by that, but I find a lot of their joke songs to just be kind of hilarious. I mean, Built This Pool on California was really funny, Bohemian Rhapsody, Can't Get You More Pregnant, and thinking back to the earlier days when you fucked Grandpa and Happy Holidays, You Bastard, Family Reunion, there's a lot that goes with the aura of nostalgia with Blink-182, and I don't think there's anything wrong with them capitalizing on that. I think that way too many acts out there take themselves way too seriously, especially in the 2010s going into the 2020s decade. Everything is so self-serious, and I just get sick of that. So to put down Blink just because they're having a little bit of fun and hating on them because they use immature humor, I say go for it, Blink. Keep it up. Blink-182 aren't a true punk band. Oh, good God, if I had $1 or even $5 for every time I'd seen that over the past 15 years that I've been a fan of Blink-182. So many arguments, so many forums, so many Reddit posts, so many people just seething with anger over the fact that, oh no, they're invading on my precious punk territory and I can't handle them. Well, be glad it's Blink-182 to be quite honest, and not somebody else. They've actually got a really talented drummer that does have kind of that punk rock tendency in a lot of his playing style, especially on earlier Blink records. And I feel that there's nothing wrong at all with bringing punk into a mainstream or poppier sense. Other bands, I know they hate the label of course, but Green Day, Good Charlotte, the All-American Rejects, a lot of other groups did it well, but I think Blink were the ones that honestly, alongside Green Day, had the most punk rock roots in their DNA. And I can see, I suppose, why some people would get irritated if people are saying, oh, my favorite punk band is Blink-182. But the fact is, most people are not saying that, and I don't think that there's any point in arguing in circles, especially for all of these years now, about whether Blink are worthy of the tag or whether they should be using punk at all in their genre description. It gets old, and I think that everybody is probably sick of the argument by now. Yep, we're still on this one too. People hate Blink-182 now because Tom DeLonge, the Lord and Savior, our alien researcher that is out to warn us of everything mysterious that's out there, is no longer in Blink-182. He was, of course, one of the founding members alongside Mark Hoppus, and their chemistry, their trading off back and forth on the vocal duties is something that kept people coming back for years. I love that dynamic, and I love that way that they play off of each other. But all good things sometimes come to an end. I won't say that they must come to an end, but at that point it seemed like Tom was very discontent. He had his heart in other things like Angels and Airwaves, his To the Stars Academy, which is maybe in debt up to their eyeballs, but we'll see how that one pans out, and his graphic novels, everything else that he likes to work on. Tom is an imaginative guy, and I can respect that, but I do feel that he kind of cut off Blink-182 a little bit cold and then acted like they did it to him. I think that they've smoothed things over as Travis Barker and Tom DeLonge have been seen talking. I think that Mark and Tom are cool at this point too. and that's good. Honestly, it might pave the way for a reunion somewhere down the line. I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, and I don't think Matt Skiba should be worrying about not having his job with Blink. I like him there, to be honest, but I do hope they go a little bit deeper with their material and their next studio album. I have faith that they will, but to hate Blink just because of a member leaving that's kind of out of their control, or else he was fired, whatever the case may be, Tom's not there, and you just gotta accept it for what it is. And if you don't like it, then don't listen. What do you think about Blink-182? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you somewhere in between? Do you think that these 6 reasons that I was able to find on the internet were valid, or do you think they were just kind of trying to chip away at the Blink-182 fandom and get under fans' skin, saying things that have already been said a million times and don't really need to be repeated? Leave a like on the video while you're here, and subscribe to the channel if you're new in town. Subscribe for the love of music, because we talk about all things music on both of my channels each and every week. If you want to see another Blink-182 themed video, then tap here or tap here for the most recent episode of Hate It or Love It. Socials in the description, and I'll see you soon for more on Beyond ARTV.